There used to be a girl, 12, 13-year-old girl. Her mother confined her to a very nice environment in a house, protected one, because I think she got sick when she was born with something, and there was a notion in her mother's mind that the moment she had a disease, that the moment she goes out, she will die. And that little girl used to just watch outside, other kids playing, normal things happening, and her immense desire was to go out. And to summarize, one fine day, her desire took over the fear of dying, and she went out. And what happened? No, it was not a magic. She actually collapsed and went to a hospital. But what really happened? You know what the doctors told the parents? Your child is absolutely normal. How come that was? It was, he says, she's going through each infection that she had to go through when she was 2-year-old, 3-year-old, 5-year-old, that would have made her resilient, now all at once. So the moment she went out, she kind of got all at once and collapsed. Why I told you this story, right? Because what are infections in our life? Every stage of life, you go through infections, you go through pain, but you emerge stronger, right? You emerge a winner, and next time when that infection comes to you, you throw it out of your body, right? And this is what failures are in your life. Each of you, whether you are in school, you'll go in university, you'll go to your jobs, you will all the time not be successful. We all look at the top student in the class. There is nothing wrong in that, right? But the top is one place. Are we all bad? No, we are not. We are good in our hearts, right? But we have to acknowledge our failures first. And we have to embrace our uniqueness first, right? Don't get good marks. No, that's not the route. Yes, many other people who have made it successful have been failures in their studies as well. But they have all acknowledged that education is important. So let's not say education is not important, right? My say is, do you always succeed only with the top degree? Yes, if you can get the top degree, there are likely chances of you succeeding more. But is there another way? Because not all of us will get there. An IIT will have limited seats, an IIM will have a limited seat. The medical institute like AIIMS will have limited seats, right? So what happens to all of us who think we are also good? That is covered by the other half: skill, experience, and our ability and passion to learn. Now, if you see why this graph is there, right? Because there is some difference. We talked about those different paths to successes, right? If you see, the black path is that, and again, not taking a particular institute's name, but let's say IIT, IIM path, or the AIIMS path, right? Because the Indian ecosystem, there is a selection of the fittest as well, right? So you get an accelerated growth. You get jobs easier, you get success faster, and that's where your trajectory goes up. And the others, which are on the pink path of skill, experience, and not those top degrees, will have a slight slow start. So this path, you'll have to tread. If you are on the top degrees, you can tread that path. You will again come to your goal. But the others, when they take this path, right, they will have to invest in themselves. I have done it. I was a great student in my school, but it did not work out somehow in my engineering. I was not very interested, not because I did not have the acumen, but this was a topic which was never close to me. So what I did was I invested in my career. I've worked in jobs which were never high paying. There is no harm in that, guys. A lot of youngsters come in and they say, oh, I want to start at this salary. Maybe that's not the right thing. If you're there, you can afford it. But if you are already investing in your career, invest in yourself first. You'll have to have a slower journey path. Invest in your experiences. Do jobs which enrich your experience, enrich your knowledge in the career. And then when you'll be ready, it's like a cricket pitch. Some of them will, you'll understand this cricket example. If you have a great pitch, you can bat sixes from the very beginning, right? If you don't have a great pitch, you still have to win. So you start slow, stabilize yourself, gain enough knowledge of the pitch, the environment, and then again start hitting sixes, which is your curve, which takes you up, and then you match that goal of the top degree guy, right? So this is a journey that you should all take, but be investing in yourself, and you'll have to invest differently if you are the skilled guy versus the top degree guy, or female, or they, right? Okay, I'll try to tell you my 4 Ps of success. And I think these are generalistic. They are not, I mean, I could give you examples, but somebody talked about purpose. I think it's very essential. And purpose can change, by the way. A lot of people think, I need to have a nirvana purpose right in my life in the beginning. We are not Einsteins. We can't think of our purposes way ahead. The vision I'll have when I'm 60 years old. I am at the student age, 16 years old, 17-year-old, 18-year-old. I can't think 60-year-old, right? Think of your next purpose, right? My purpose at one point was, my mother paid my education. We were middle class, we were not poor, but she could not buy her bangles because she had to pay my fees. My next goal was, I need to get a good job because I could not be an astronaut. That was my passion. I'll come to that next. But I wanted a good job. And I worked my way through it. My first vision got enhanced, and then it went through. But then again, the second thing is passion. My passion was becoming an astronaut. So how do I marry the both, right? So if you can match your vision and your passion, you are halfway there to be successful, because passion is what drives you, and purpose is what tells you where to go, right? And then in this path of passion and purpose, you have a journey, which you can only do by perseverance. Somebody talked about taking small steps, right? Micro successes. This is what you have to do. You have to be on it. If you don't do it everywhere, you'll have failures. You'll have to pick yourself up, again do it, have failures. And I call this freedom to fail, right? You should acknowledge your failures. Failures are an important part of your life. As we said, like infections, you learn and you don't make mistakes. And then you'll realize you'll start getting successful. And last but not the least, people. You can have all your threes of passion, purpose, perseverance, which are individual characteristics, right? But what takes you up in your life is your people. And people in your life are at different stages different. The first set of people that take you up is your parents. And that's our culture. Why do we respect them? Is because they have held our hands and made us independent enough to get to a school, to get to a college, to get to where we can even stand up and go, right? And then our teachers, some of the teachers are sitting here, right? You spend more time with them, sometimes with your parents, than your parents in the weekday. Those are people who are actually making your careers. Your school becomes such an important part of your personality. You can get all your degrees, but your personality is here. How you speak, how you debate, how do you articulate, how confident you get. Some of the students here are so confident. They was like the young one speaking, amazing. I could have not done this at that age. And how the last student spoke was like a professional, right? So this is what school has given you, and it will never go off. You can be in your highest job, highest degree. This will always work. And then last but not the least, as you go along, there will be people, could be your friends, could be your teams. I have a wonderful team in my office. I am what I am because of them. There are a diverse set of people from different nationalities, different cultures. And I tell them always, I am not the smartest guy. I was never the smartest guy in my life. But what has worked is people have complimented me. There are people who are smarter than me in some jobs. I am good at something. We all get together. We are a team, and we deliver. So always remember these 4 Ps. This is my life. You might have different Ps. But if you can use your Ps and get ahead in life, that's the main thing. Now I'll try to quickly wrap up by giving you certain kind of pieces of one-liners, right? And that's the end of it. 4 one-liners. Do not confuse schooling with education. You can be in any institute. You can be in the most expensive school, or a person who cannot afford could be in the government school. But what it matters is what you are being educated on. Do you have good teachers who are teaching you right things? Do you get good experiences? Knowledge, education, and the institute are 2 different things sometimes. Yes, there are likely chances of a good school or a good educational institute also giving you good, but you can find education everywhere, right? The second big thing is self-awareness. You all think that failures, I talked about failures, and I wanted to talk a bit more about failures, but we did not have time today. But how do failures help us improve? Because after failures, we have to also analyze what went wrong. If I cannot take a feedback, if you cannot take a feedback, you cannot improve. There is a saying, you can only improve something what you can identify as a problem or you can measure. If you go to a doctor with a pain in your stomach if the doctor cannot identify whether it's a pain just because of an infection or is it a big tumor in your stomach, there are different diagnostics. If your problem is not identified, you cannot solve it. So becoming self-aware is one big thing to get successfully solving your problems and your failures and going ahead in life. Second last but not the least, your mind. A lot of people say execution, let's do this, let's do this. The strongest force in your body is your mind. When we were talking about cancer stories, when we were talking about success stories around meditation, right? The strength of your mind can control everything in your life. I could be the fittest person, but if I decide not to, if my mind decides that I don't want to do anything, here is what I reach. Look at me, I've done that. I've been on the other side, right? So I say this always, right? Microsteps, somebody said, start doing by what is necessary because that's how you train your mind. Then do what is possible because don't suddenly jump to things, right? Start with what's possible by doing what's necessary, the mandatory tasks in your life, then what is possible, and suddenly, I'm telling you, without even doing anything, you'll be doing what you wish for, the impossible, right? And last one, there is a difference between growth and sustainable success. A lot of people talk about, I want to grow, I want to grow. What is growth? Growth needs to be sustainable. You just can't, hit a six and win the match. You have to make the team win, right? You have to make yourself win constantly in life. You get good marks in your 10th standard, you think that's the end of it? No, there is life beyond you. So invest in yourself to continuously evolve and what people see in the future. When I select people in the job, I do a lot of selection of people because I have a large team and we have a large organization. People come to me and say, oh, it's been 3 years, I need promotions. What happens is you don't get promotions or success because you've spent some time. First, get ready. Imagine when you start thinking the next level, when you start behaving the next level, when you start showing potential, people automatically select you. We say, oh, this guy is doing a fantastic job, let's select him, right? So invest in yourself, continuously improve. And what I said about education, right? Develop confidence, a bit of common sense, and effective communication. It's like a cake. You see a cake in the pastry shop, very good cake, same base. One is cracked with no decoration, no icing, no cream, no chocolate on the top. That is your communication, common sense, and confidence. Of course, the cake has to be there. If the cake is not good, that's your basics that you need to be there, right? And that's where explainability of your work is key. If you're not able to market yourself well, then people don't know how good you are. And last but not the least, be ethical. You can earn a lot. There is, I heard an interview from MS Dhoni, who's the famous cricketer, right? He said, being passionate about or being purposeful about money is also not bad, as long as you do it ethically, right? So any success, any growth that you are achieving in life, as long as it is ethical, is great. And learn to be these 3 stages of life. You should deliver, which is, you are a great person, you know your job, but then be reliable. Somebody talked about consistent, because those are the people who people ultimately develop trust on. So your journey to trustworthiness or success is from getting competent, delivering, to getting reliable, to getting trustworthy, right? So these are my 4 sermons, which I think if you can follow, people will look at you very differently in spite of whatever degrees or careers that you take. And hence, last but the least, I finish with this statement, right? That when I first stood in your shoes, and this is really what I felt I wrote, right? The future seemed endless and daunting. But with every new experience, every mistake made and lesson learned, the path became clearer. So don't be afraid of your mistakes, of your failures, of your stumbles. Choose your dreams and go for them with your open heart. And as I show it, right, make your failures into your crown jewels of successes and not kind of dwell on them. So thank you for that and hope you can be successful very soon.